skills that proved to be more of a help than a hindrance. I'm not claiming that they provided the breakthroughs that were needed to crack those cases, but they certainly pushed things in the right direction. Winter was trying hard not to grin. Yoko could see his facial muscles twitching. The effort of keeping the corners of his mouth from turning up was obvious. He ate some pasta in an attempt to disguise the emotion. It didn't work. Nothing to say for yourself? Now he grinned.
If you ask me, they should give this guy a medal.
She gave it a second to see if he had anything else to add. He didn't. Okay, here's what I find really interesting, she went on. The first 3 letters were sent from Virginia. The 4th from Georgia, the last from Florida. Virginia's next door to Maryland, and gee, didn't you go to college in Maryland? Letter number 4 came in after you graduated, and by some strange coincidence, you were in South Carolina at the time it was posted. Once again, not a long drive in that little red Beetle of yours, and would you believe it, letter number 5 was posted in Orlando a couple of weeks after you started working here. My guess is that you chose Orlando because you wanted to ride the roller coasters. 2 birds with 1 stone. Does that sound about right?
You have been stalking me.
I'm not hearing any denials. Winter ate some more pasta. Slowly. He chewed and swallowed, then washed it down with some wine.
Okay, hypothetically speaking, let's say that I was responsible for those notes. It doesn't necessarily follow that I'm going to come running to help you out just because you turn up on my doorstep. I got a job, commitments. Believe it or not, I'm happy here.
No, you're not. Winter sat back in his seat and picked up a napkin. He wiped his hands, wiped his mouth. The whole time he was doing this, his eyes didn't stray from Yoko's.
You're wrong. I work a couple hours a day playing the piano. The rest of the time, I get to sit in the sunshine and chill. What's not to love about that?
You're wasting your life away is what you're doing. And you're nowhere near as happy as you're making out. She tapped her fingers on the top photocopy, drawing his attention to it. If you were, you wouldn't be spending hour upon hour playing with scissors and glue in old copies of the New York Times.
The New York Times?
Yoko allowed herself a rare smile. I'm with the FBI, remember? An analysis of the paper showed that it came from the Times. The fonts are consistent with the ones they use. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. You could be anything you want, and you choose to be a cocktail lounge pianist? She shook her head. Sorry, not buying.
This is a restaurant, not a cocktail lounge.
And you're missing the point. Winter was staring across the table again, the candlelight dancing through the greens and golds of his eyes. Once again, she was struck by the similarities between father and son. She'd been out to California to interview Albert Winter at San Quentin prison. She'd sat as close to him as she was now, sitting to Jefferson. The obvious difference was that the table in the interview room at San Quentin didn't have a quaint red and white tablecloth or a candle, and there was nothing that could be used as a weapon left lying on top of it. Father and son didn't just share the same eyes. The similarities went much deeper than that. They had the same nose, the same mouth, the same shaped cheekbones. She'd seen photographs of Albert Winter when he was younger. Jefferson could have been his twin brother, albeit the scruffier, more unkempt twin. The only major difference was their hair color. Jefferson's hair was black, whereas his father's had been snow white. That said, it might have been the light, but Yoko thought she could detect the occasional gray hair peeking through. As far as she was concerned, those stray gray hairs only added to her belief that life wasn't as easy and carefree as he was making out. For a while they ate in silence, both lost in thought. From the short time they'd spent together last year, she knew that she shouldn't push too hard. Do that, and he'd shut down. And there was a good chance